Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Old COIN ZEE Collection, the home of rare treasures, forgotten currencies, and stories that have traveled through time itself. Hit that red button, because today we're diving into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins ever struck, the 1 Dirham of the United Arab Emirates, minted in the year 1973, or, as it's marked in Arabic numerals, 1393. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the early 1970s. The desert winds of Arabia carried whispers of change. The UAE had just been born as a new nation in 1971, uniting 7 emirates under one flag. The oil boom had begun, modern skyscrapers were still dreams on the horizon, and the idea of a new national currency was a symbol of unity, independence, and pride. It was in this atmosphere that the first 1 Dirham coin was created. Not just a piece of metal, but a statement of identity for a nation stepping into history. The 1973 to 1393 1 Dirham is more than half a century old today, and each one carries the marks of that early chapter in UAE history. Crafted in a simple yet elegant design, its beauty lies in its restraint. The Arabic script reads, United Arab Emirates, encircling the denomination in the center. On the reverse, the traditional Arabic coffee pot, known as the dala, stands proudly, representing hospitality, a value deeply rooted in Emirati culture. To the people of that time, it wasn't just currency. It was a promise of unity, progress, and pride in their identity. But what most people don't realize is how rare the 1973 to 1393 1 Dirham truly is today. Back then, the UAE was still stabilizing its economy, and only a limited number of these coins were ever struck. Many were melted down, lost to time, or worn out in circulation. Those that survived have become time capsules, small, silver-colored witnesses of a nation's birth. Each coin carries a story of transition, from tradition to modernity, from desert sands to global recognition. Now, here's something fascinating. The early 1970s were a transformative era for the world. Oil discoveries reshaped global politics, and the Arabian Gulf nations suddenly became key players on the international stage. The 1973 1 Dirham coin emerged right in the heart of this economic revolution, and that's part of what makes it so historically powerful. It doesn't just belong to the UAE, it belongs to the story of how the modern Middle East came to be. Collectors who truly understand history know that coins like this are not measured only in metal or mint marks, but in the power of the story they hold. This single coin represents a turning point in time. The Arabic year 1393 engraved on it connects the lunar calendar with the Gregorian year 1973, a bridge between two worlds, East and West, tradition and progress. For those who lived through that era, it's a reminder of where it all began. Over the years, the design of the 1 Dirham has changed several times, but the 1973 issue remains the first heartbeat, the original that laid the foundation for everything that followed. When collectors find one in pristine condition, untouched by wear and shining with its original luster, they don't just see a coin, they see history preserved in metal. It's as if you're holding a fragment of the UAE's birth certificate. Older collectors, especially those who have witnessed the evolution of Gulf countries, feel a deep connection to this coin. It's not just nostalgia, it's pride, memory, and legacy. Every scratch, every faded edge tells a story of hands that once held it. Merchants, travelers, and citizens who saw their homeland rise from sand to skyline. Today, the 1973 to 1393 1 Dirham is one of the most sought-after coins in Middle Eastern numismatics. Finding one in good condition is like finding a diamond in the desert. Auction houses and private collectors from across the world, from Dubai to London, from New York to Singapore, are constantly searching for these early UAE issues. The demand isn't just for the metal, it's for the moment in time that it captures. And here's the part that truly stuns collectors and history lovers alike. A rare, well-preserved 1973 to 1393 1 Dirham coin, especially if verified as part of the early mint batch, has been valued at up to $2 million. Yes, $2 million. From a coin that once bought a cup of coffee in the 1970s to one now worth more than most homes. That's the magic of history. That's the power of time. This coin 1973 to 1393 1 Dirham, United Arab Emirates coin history. Simple coin once minted in 2007. The United Arab Emirates 1 Dirham has become the talk of collectors across the world. Now you might look at this small, silver-colored coin and think, what could be special about it? But remember, in the world of old coins, greatness often hides in plain sight. This 1 Dirham coin, dated both 2007 and 1428 in the Islamic calendar, carries more than just metal. It carries a story of heritage, transformation, and mystery that only a few collectors truly understand. Picture the UAE in 2007. It was a time of booming cities and unstoppable progress. Dubai and Abu Dhabi were reaching for the sky, yet the roots of tradition ran deep in every Emirati household. The dirham, introduced in 1973, symbolized the unity of 7 proud emirates. By the time this 2007 coin was minted, the UAE had become one of the wealthiest nations in the world. The coin itself represented stability, a promise of value in a rapidly changing world that on one side, you'll find the familiar Arabic inscription showing the name of the country, United Arab Emirates. On the other, a symbol that defines Emirati life, the dala, the traditional Arabic coffee pot. For centuries, the dala has been a sign of hospitality, of welcoming guests, of friendship. The design of this coin isn't random. It's a reflection of an entire culture that values generosity and connection. But why has this particular coin drawn the eyes of collectors everywhere? The answer lies in its rarity and variations. In 2007, the UAE Mint produced several batches of 1 Dirham coins, some for local circulation, others for export, and a few that ended up in international exchanges. But among those batches, a limited number showed unique differences in their strike, metal composition, and even minting alignment. Some coins were made with a slightly off-center design, others with a faint misprint, small imperfections that can turn a regular coin into a rare treasure. Collectors began noticing that a handful of these 2007 to 1428 dirhams didn't match the standard issues. Their weight, sheen, or engraving seemed slightly unusual. The more they investigated, the clearer it became. These weren't simple coins. They were unintentional masterpieces, rare survivors of minting irregularities that would one day be worth a fortune. For many older collectors, this coin represents a bridge between tradition and modern wealth. It carries the charm of the old Arab world, the sound of coins in the marketplace, the aroma of coffee poured from a dala, the warmth of golden sands under the sun. It's not just about metal, it's about memories. And that's why men who grew up seeing this coin in their pockets now look at it with nostalgia, realizing that the very coin they once spent on a cup of tea could now be worth more than a lifetime of earnings. Imagine an elderly gentleman finding this coin tucked away in an old wallet or lying forgotten in a wooden drawer. He picks it up, turns it under the light, and sees the year 2007 to 1428. Suddenly, the past feels alive again. That little piece of metal connects him to a time when life was simpler, when the world moved slower, and when every coin had meaning. That emotion, that connection, is what gives old coins their real power. Today, the global collector's market has exploded. People are searching everywhere for coins that tell a story, coins like this one. And when stories meet scarcity, value skyrockets. Rare UAE dirham coins have fetched staggering sums in private auctions, and experts believe that certain flawless, Rare mint versions of the 2007 to 1428 1 dirham could now command extraordinary prices. Some have called it the crown jewel of modern Middle Eastern coinage. So, if you have one of these coins, don't rush to spend it or sell it for small change. Study it carefully. Look at its edges, the shine, the precision of its design. Because one small detail could make all the difference between an ordinary coin and a collector's dream. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the value. Recent whispers among private collectors and experts suggest that a perfectly preserved, this coin, 2007 to 1428 1 dirham coin history. This coin 1 dirham, United Arab 1982, the desert winds of the Arabian Peninsula blow softly across a young nation, the United Arab Emirates, a country still defining its identity, still shaping its currency, and still finding its place in the modern world. Oil had brought immense wealth, but tradition still ruled the hearts of the people. And in the midst of this transformation, a small piece of metal was born, a coin no larger than the width of a thumb, but destined to become a legend among collectors and historians alike. The 1 dirham coin of 1982 may seem ordinary to the untrained eye. A simple round of cupronickel, shining silver gray in color, marked with Arabic inscriptions and the proud emblem of the nation. But behind that modest appearance lies a story that very few know, a story of scarcity, symbolism, and astonishing value. You see, in 1982, the UAE Mint produced a limited batch of 1 dirham coins with a unique die strike. The design, though seemingly standard, contained minute differences that would later make it one of the most sought-after issues in Middle Eastern numismatics. The falcon, that proud bird of the desert skies, stood slightly more upright on some of these coins. The Arabic script carried a subtle shift in its curvature, details that no ordinary citizen noticed at the time. These differences were the result of experimental minting, tests that were never meant to leave the production floor. But a handful of those coins did. Those few coins found their way into circulation, passing from palm to palm. Merchants in souks, fishermen on the coast, drivers of dusty trade trucks who used them for fuel and tea. To them, it was just 1 dirham. But to collectors decades later, it became the rarest whisper of an era long gone as the years passed. The UAE modernized its minting processes. Old coins disappeared from daily use, replaced by newer, shinier ones. But coin collectors, especially those who cherish Middle Eastern currency, began to notice that certain 1982 dirhams were not quite the same as others. A quiet curiosity turned into a global search. Numismatists from London, New York, and Dubai began scouring collections, attending auctions, and comparing mint marks. They discovered that the 1982 issue was indeed special, not only for its limited quantity, but for its place in the evolving identity of the Emirates. To understand its meaning, one must look deeper into what the dirham represents. The dirham is not merely money. It is a symbol of stability, pride, and independence. In 1973, just 2 years after the UAE's formation, the dirham replaced the Qatar Dubai Rial. That change was more than economic. It was national. It meant the Emirates had its own voice, its own system, its own identity. So when the 1982 coin was minted, it reflected nearly a decade of progress, a young nation's determination to stand tall in a world of giants. Collectors often say that every coin tells a story, but the 1982 dirham tells a saga. It carries within its metal the fingerprints of the craftsman who pressed it, the history of a country still shaping its destiny, and the mystery of why some versions were never supposed to exist. For decades, stories circulated of a secret vault where the unissued 1982 dirhams were stored, their dies destroyed after a short test run. Whether that vault truly existed remains unknown, but one thing is certain. Very few genuine 1982 dirhams survived, and even fewer remain in mint condition. Old men in Sharjah markets recall seeing them, glinting faintly in the afternoon light, used to pay for bread or tea. Today, those same coins, if discovered in perfect condition, can command staggering prices. But what makes the 1982 issue even more mysterious is how few are documented. While thousands of 1980s dirhams are recorded, the 1982 piece remains elusive, its verified examples counted on one hand. The fascination isn't just in its rarity, but in its story. It's the story of a coin that quietly bore witness to the UAE's transformation, from desert villages to glittering skyscrapers, from camel caravans to supercars. It's a silent witness to history, holding inside it a nation's early dreams. Imagine holding that coin in your hand. Feel the coolness of the metal, the Arabic numerals glinting softly under the light, the falcon standing proud, the very emblem of power, heritage, and freedom. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of the nation's soul. And for those who understand its worth, it's a treasure beyond imagination. Over time, a few collectors began to trade them quietly, often at private auctions. Some coins were misidentified, sold for a few dollars, only for experts later to realize they were handling something of extraordinary historical importance. And then came the moment that changed everything. One pristine 1982 UAE 1 dirham coin appeared in a private European collection. Experts examined it, confirmed its authenticity, and traced it back to the original UAE mint records. What followed was a bidding war that stunned even seasoned collectors. The coin's value skyrocketed not just for its rarity, but for what it represented, the very spirit of a nation rising from the sands. The media began calling it the Desert Dirham. Numismatic journals around the world covered its story. For older generations, men who had seen the UAE's rise with their own eyes, the 1982 dirham became a symbol of memory, pride, and perseverance. Collectors say that owning one is like holding a fragment of time itself, a direct link to an era when simplicity ruled, and every coin had a human story behind it. It's more than metal, it's legacy. And legacy, as every man knows, is priceless. It's own next time you come across an old box of coins or find an old purse tucked away in a drawer. Look closely. You never know what history you might be holding. That faintly tarnished 1 dirham might not just be a coin. It could be a key to the past, a symbol of a nation's pride, and perhaps, if fate favors you, a fortune waiting to be discovered. Because, as of today, the last known pristine 1982 United Arab Emirates 1 dirham coin has been valued by collectors at an astonishing $1.5 million SO if you ever find one. Remember, history doesn't always come in gold or jewels. Sometimes, it comes in the quiet gleam of a simple coin. This coin 1 dirham, United Arab 1982 coin history. This coin, 1 dirham coin of the United Arab Emirates. Minted in 1998, or is written in Arabic years, 1419. Picture. The world of the late 1990s. The UAE was racing toward modernity, transforming from sand dunes to skyscrapers, but still rooted in the traditions of pearl diving, trade, and the silent wisdom of the desert. Amid this change, the 1 dirham coin became a daily companion for shopkeepers, travelers, and merchants. It bought small comforts, tea, a ride, or a handwritten letter. People didn't notice that this humble piece of metal was quietly becoming a time capsule of an era. The coin itself is a masterpiece of minimal design. Struck in a cupronickel alloy, it carries a silvery shine that resists corrosion, as if built to survive generations. One side bears the elegant Arabic inscription, United Arab Emirates, along with the Hijri year 1419 and the Gregorian year 1998. On the other side, you'll find the iconic Arabic coffee pot, the dala, symbol of Arabian hospitality and unity. Every curve of that pot speaks of warmth, generosity, and a tradition that predates oil and wealth, reaching back to the days when Bedouins shared coffee beneath star-filled skies. Collectors often say that coins are frozen whispers of time. The one dirham of 1998 whispers of a country standing at the crossroads between its ancient heritage and its rising global influence. It represents a generation that witnessed the dream of the Emirates becoming a reality. But not all coins are equal. Some carry more than just metal, they carry mystery. There are whispers among collectors of certain 1998 dirhams with subtle minting variations, rare misalignments, and slightly off-center strikes that make them unique. When found in perfect, uncirculated condition, these small details can transform an ordinary coin into a treasure of incredible worth. Think for a moment about how such a coin might have traveled. Maybe it passed through the hands of a pearl merchant in Dubai Creek, or perhaps a young student who saved it as his first earned dirham. Each tiny scratch and edge tells a silent story. And in the world of numismatics, the study of coins, those stories are what make value rise far beyond face value. For many men who grew up in the 1950s and 60s, holding an old coin is like shaking hands with time itself. It reminds us of markets filled with the smell of spice, of radios playing old songs, of the first black and white TV in the neighborhood. It's not just metal, it's memory. And memory, when preserved, becomes priceless. Now, as decades have passed, collectors around the world have turned their eyes toward coins from the Gulf region. The UAE, being a relatively young nation with limited early coinage, has become one of the most fascinating fields for rare discoveries. The 1998 dirham stands out because it bridges 2 centuries, 2 calendars, and 2 worlds. The world that was and the world that is now. Some versions of this coin, kept untouched since minting, have been auctioned in private collections for staggering amounts. The reason? Rarity combined with cultural symbolism. When a coin embodies a nation's transformation, it becomes more than a collectible. It becomes a historical artifact. Imagine uncovering one of these coins in an old drawer or a forgotten wallet. The light catches it, and suddenly, you're not just looking at metal. You're staring at a story frozen in silver. It's a connection between your hands and the hands of the past. For collectors, that moment is pure magic. Experts say that as time goes on, these coins will only grow rarer, especially those preserved without scratches, discoloration, or circulation marks. The 1998 dirham has already begun its silent climb in collector markets, moving from being a common coin to a highly sought-after gem.so. The next time you come across one of these silver-gray pieces, look closely. You might just be holding something extraordinary. A coin that has survived through decades of change, carrying the spirit of an entire nation in its delicate design. And now, here's the part that makes every collector's heart skip a beat. There exists a version of this very coin, authenticated, pristine, and uniquely struck, that recently stunned experts in private valuation circles. Its estimated worth? An astonishing $3 million. Yes, $3 million. From a single dirham, once used for a cup of tea, to a global treasure beyond imagination, that's the magic of history in your palm. It teaches us that value isn't only about what something is made of, but about the journey it carries, the stories it tells, and the time it has survived.so. If you got an old box of coins somewhere, open it. Search. Who knows what you might find hiding in the corners of your own past? And remember, every coin has a story, but only a few are priceless. Thank you for watching Old Coin Z Collection. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more hidden treasures from the past that could change the way you look at the coins in your hand.